Say, Robin.
Say, George.
So what do we like to do when we're like snowed into Boise, Idaho and have nowhere to go because the mountain passes are all closed?
Well, thankfully we always keep board games on board.
Ooh.
So Scrabble's usually our favorite one. The goal of this trip was to make it in one piece to Washington State in time for my parents' anniversary. But before we could reach our final destination, we had to try and avoid multiple blizzards. This involved not only constantly listening to the weather reports, but sometimes even racing against the clock in order to miss certain storms before they hit. A couple times we just had to hole up and wait the storm out. Driving cross-country in the wintertime is always dangerous, but naturally we decide to do it when the West Coast is having the worst storm it's seen in 30 years.
So there's our old little setup. We are held up in Boise, Idaho. And it's better than being stuck. Since we're held up waiting for weather, Robin was pointing out that some of our little makeshift cubby holes, we got Scrabble games, chess, boggle. Got my bunk up there and Robin's nest right there.
I don't think we have enough room to play Twister.
It could be a tight game of Twister. Alright, that's pretty much it. Just figured we were bored, why not play with the camera?
Poor little Shih Tzu. Looks like it's a down vest. That's cute.
Robin's got some little peepholes there.
I do. Those are leftovers from when George stuck the GoPro mount there. And I just kind of went like that through it.
Whoop.
So I can actually see.
Peephole!
Peep!
Watching people walk their dogs.
Yeah, that's the extent of the excitement here in this weather.
Uh-huh. Once again, we are bored sitting here with a blizzard up on the mountain passes in Oregon and Idaho. So we are at a standstill, both driving and in our game of Scrabble.
Ah! I'm stuck.
So we're bored and we have the munchies while we're sitting here playing Scrabble, so we whipped out some delicious ramen noodles. Yum.
Yum.
The next time we see you, hopefully we will be driving through... Did it zoom in? With that said, hopefully the next time we see you guys, we will be cruising through the mountain passes into Oregon and over into Pendleton. Really want to make it to Pendleton before dark tonight, for sure. We are out of Boise, headed up into the mountain passes with our hazards a-flashing. Going slow and easy up the hills. But it started raining really heavy and the temperatures up into the upper 30s. So I think we're just really fortunate to have this little narrow window because tonight it is supposed to be bad up in here again. So we're trying to make use of our time and get the flock out of here. Oh, what's up, Robin?
Hi, what's up?
That's one of the robin's nest positions. Oh, that's where she likes to hang out on these long hauls, chilling out. We are pulling some pretty steep hills in Oregon, trying to make it over, what is it, LaGrange and Pendleton Pass? Yes. So if you're kind of curious, with a 1995 Ford Power Stroke, I baby this thing, pulling about 11,000 pound camper behind us, and usually 40, 45, it'll just tug along at around 2,000, hovering around 2,000 RPMs or a little higher. But I don't push it, because I don't want to replace another $4,000 transmission. But if you take care of it, it'll do a really fine job. And on really steep hills, which we'll probably have a chance to show you in the future, we'll probably even be pulling down to 25 miles an hour most likely before too long. Alright, we had to slow down to about 30 miles an hour, 2,500 RPMs. We're just about to top over this little section. Yay! Just had a little snow flurry about 40 miles out from Pendleton.
The 222 miles from Boise, Idaho to Pendleton are pretty much wrapped up in nothing but mountain passes, which in the summertime on a motorcycle are a fantastic ride. If you want to know more about the history of this area, there is an interpretive center along this stretch of Interstate 84 that goes into the history of the area and of the settlers who made the trip across these treacherous mountains in covered wagons. And if you really want to sink your feet into some history, in the summertime you can venture out, and there are some locations where the ruts left by these covered wagons are still visible today. In our next video, we drop out of this mountain range, down into Pendleton, Oregon, and drive along the Columbia Gorge, making our way into Portland, Oregon, and right into another massive snowstorm. If you enjoyed this video and the scenery and the ramblings of George and Robin, feel free to stick around for more, and as always, please click and subscribe.